football world is heating up with breaking news. Carlo Ancelotti, the master architect of European football, has officially reached an agreement to take charge of the Brazil national team. A simple nod that has shaken the entire world of football, because behind that decision lies a record-breaking salary that few could ever refuse. A new and promising chapter is awaiting both the Seleção and Don Carlo himself. After months of speculation, negotiations, and behind-the-scenes battles, everything is now clear. Ancelotti will officially take over the hot seat in Brazil starting from June of 2025, beginning his journey to conquer the 2026 World Cup with the iconic yellow and green squad. And this is not just an ordinary coaching contract, it is a historic transfer. For the first time in decades, Brazil has decided to break all financial barriers to secure a European strategist. According to reports from Fabrizio Romano and Football Italia, the Brazilian Football Confederation, known as CBF, offered Ancelotti a contract with a salary close to 11 million euros per season, matching what he currently earns at Real Madrid. This is something almost unheard of for any national team coach. Anyone who believed that only passion or professional challenges would lure Ancelotti away from Bernabeu should think again. Money, more precisely a historic salary, was the ultimate offer that could not be refused. To understand the scale of this move, just look at the current landscape. Gareth Southgate, head coach of England, earns around 5 million euros per year. Didier Deschamps, leading France, makes about 4.5 million euros. Lionel Scaloni, who led Argentina to victory at the 2022 World Cup, earns roughly 2.6 million euros. Clearly, the Brazilian Football Confederation is smashing every standard for coaching salaries to reignite hopes of returning Brazil to the summit of world football after bitter failures in the 2018 and 2022 World Cups. In the context of ongoing domestic economic challenges, Brazil's heavy investment in Ancelotti shows their absolute determination. They understand that only someone like Don Carlo, with his stature and bravery, can rebuild and lead the Seleção back to the world throne. On the Real Madrid side, with their tradition of classy behavior, they have also decided to fully pay Ancelotti the remaining salary on his contract, which runs until June of 2026, even though he will leave early. It is a warm and respectful farewell, fitting for the level of esteem Don Carlo deserves. Looking back through history, very few coaches have left Real Madrid in such peace as previous regimes like Julen Lopetegui, Rafael Benitez, or even Jose Mourinho often departed amid fiery controversies. Thus, the historic handshake between Carlo Ancelotti in Brazil is not just about handing him a team, it is about entrusting him with the dream of an entire nation. For Don Carlo, money has never been everything, but this time it is money that has opened the door to his final and greatest challenge in an illustrious career. While Brazil's massive financial offer was the decisive factor in bringing Ancelotti to the Seleção, Real Madrid's way of saying goodbye has commanded admiration from around the world. This was not just a farewell but a true tribute to a legend. Powerful President Florentino Perez is even planning to offer Ancelotti a lifetime ambassadorial role after he officially retires, a supreme honor that is rare even within the mighty empire of Real Madrid. Even after stepping away from the coaching bench, Carlo Ancelotti will remain forever tied to the Royal White. It is expected that Real Madrid will hold a special tribute ceremony for him during their final home match of the season at the Santiago Bernabeu against Real Sociedad. Tens of thousands of Madridistas will rise to their feet and applaud, bidding farewell to the man who led them to glorious heights across two unforgettable eras. Looking back at Ancelotti's journey with Real Madrid, his trophy cabinet is nothing short of astonishing. 2 La Liga titles, 2 Copa del Rey trophies, 2 Spanish Super Cups, 3 Champions League titles, 3 UEFA Super Cups, 2 FIFA Club World Cups, and 1 Intercontinental Cup. Ancelotti is not just a successful coach, he has become the greatest legend in the history of Real Madrid. During the press conference following the defeat to Barcelona in the Copa del Rey final, when asked about his future, Ancelotti calmly replied, "Whether I stay or not will be decided in the coming weeks. Today is not the time to talk about that." A short but profound answer from a seasoned coach, one who understands that every great journey should end with honor and heads held high. Even though Real Madrid had to endure defeat in the Copa del Rey and an exit in the quarter-finals of the Champions League this season, the legacy left behind by Ancelotti remains priceless. It is not just about the trophies. He laid the foundation for the next golden generation. Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo, and Jude Bellingham are the stars who are and will continue to lead Real Madrid into the future. That is also why, in the search for his successor, Real Madrid acted with calmness and absolute respect. They made discreet approaches to candidates like Jurgen Klopp and especially Xabi Alonso, but everything was conducted quietly and without haste. For Real Madrid, bidding farewell to Carlo Ancelotti was not just about changing a strategist, it was about saying goodbye to a part of the soul of Bernabeu. When Don Carlo leaves, he does not walk away as a defeated man. He departs as a living monument, carrying with him the immortal glory of great achievements and the eternal love of those who have devoted their lives to Real Madrid. Brazil has spent nearly 2 decades longing to recapture their former glory. Since their World Cup victory in 2002, the Seleção has stumbled repeatedly, from the haunting 1-7 defeat against Germany in 2014 to the bitter collapses in Russia in 2018 and Qatar in 2022. The thirst for glory has now turned into an inescapable obsession. It is no surprise that they threw themselves into the race for Don Carlo's signature with utter desperation. Amid a crisis of both identity and achievement, Carlo Ancelotti offers what few others can: composure, the ability to manage egos, and the talent to turn exceptional individuals into a winning collective. Ancelotti does not bind the artists of the pitch to rigid philosophies. He does not suppress the genius instinct, which is the most precious asset of Brazilian football. Instead, Don Carlo knows how to nurture and elevate each star within a harmonious team structure. Ancelotti's greatest advantage is his deep understanding of the players who will form the backbone of the Seleção in the coming years. Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo, and Eder Militão, 3 pillars of Brazil, have all matured under his guidance at Real Madrid, not to mention emerging gems like Endrick and familiar names like Rafinha and Gabriel Martinelli. None of them are strangers to. With that foundation, Ancelotti will not waste time getting acquainted. He can immediately start building a new Brazil from the moment he takes charge. According to Fabrizio Romano, the Brazilian Football Confederation has requested that Ancelotti officially lead the team starting in June, in time for the 2026 World Cup qualifiers against Ecuador and Paraguay. This shows that Brazil is demanding an immediate impact. They want to send a strong message to the world that the Seleção is ready to return to the summit, and Carlo Ancelotti is the man chosen to deliver that statement. But with belief comes immense pressure. In the land of samba, patience is a rare luxury, and victory is the only measure. Ancelotti is tasked not only with winning titles, but also with reviving the spirit of Brazilian football, the art of the game that has been fading in the modern era. This will be the greatest challenge of Don Carlo's career, even tougher than any Champions League campaign or domestic title he has conquered before. But if anyone has the composure and finesse to overcome such pressure, it can only be Carlo Ancelotti. For him, football has never been just about trophies. It is the art of leading free spirits. And now, in the land of footballing geniuses, Don Carlo will have the chance to turn that philosophy into a true masterpiece. All eyes are now on Brazil. The entire world is waiting to see how Carlo Ancelotti will continue writing his miraculous story under the rhythmic beating of drums and the endless samba dances at Maracana. A new journey has begun, and the yellow and green dream is waiting to be painted with the brightest strokes.